Hey Drifters, the drift comes to you from our Sociable DGI Communication Studios. Get the drift?
Did you know that our own Mr. Yachts, Nick Cardoza, spends most of his time where the mega yachts are? Yep, sunny Florida.
Hey guys, Nick Cardoza with Mr. Yachts, and I want to show you this Chaser 500. This is a 50-foot high-performance rib that you gotta check out. Made in Holland, one of the nicest ribs I've seen in a long time. Come check it out. From a rib standpoint, and that stands for rigid inflatable boat, which means you've got a hard hull underneath, rigid hull, and pontoons on either side. And you've got a lot of stability, really good performance because it's lightweight, efficient, and you've got the hull in the middle, the deep V hull that cuts through the waves with the air that keeps it on top. So, what makes these boats really special? Well, first of all, they're 50 feet, which is an enormous size for a rib. And this whole layout can be reconfigured to how you want. It could be a really big sun pad. You can have an additional cabin underneath. But what I like about the construction when they explained everything to me is, so for example, I'll show you this. The tubes are slip-on, which means if they get damaged or they need to be repaired or replaced, all you have to do is slide them off and you can slide them back on. That's a really good feature because if the tubes go bad, you don't have to get a new boat, you just replace the tubes. So that's very smart. And look how they designed the cushions. They're very ergonomic, so when you're leaning back, it's not a right angle. It just feels really good being on this boat. And let me show you something that I really appreciate from a boater's perspective. So you really don't want to have lines touching your tubes because it can damage them. So what they've done here is they've added this post so that you can tie up your lines, tie up your bow without having to tie cleats with the lines rubbing against and chafing the tubes. And they put the navigation lights up here, Lopo lights, which are the best, which is a great place because they're the most visible here. Let's talk about layout. You've got the big U-shaped couches here, which face aft, and you've got the running couch here, because this is where you want to be when you're going 50 miles an hour, because that's awesome. And of course, the sun pad up here. All right, so coming to the helm, I love the simplicity of this boat because you just don't want to overcomplicate things and they don't need to be so complicated. So you've got a really cool carbon fiber steering wheel, which feels really light. You've got the suicide knob so you can really spin it and you can take these really tight turns. This thing handles like a jet ski or like a fighter jet. Take your pick because, I mean, it's a wild ride. Now let's take a quick look at the interior. Okay, so like I said before, there's different configurations with this boat. You could configure it with a much larger cabin, have a bigger sun pad up above. The way this one was built was great because you've got two little couches here. There's a cushion that comes in the middle. You can actually convert this whole area into a bed. And you've got a full head here. So, I mean, it's like a mini condo. It's very cool. Moving back into the aft cockpit, you've got two fridges underneath, which is great for keeping your drinks cold. Seating for 6 with a high-load table that actually converts into a sun pad too if you put it down, which is really cool. And it's hard to show you on the video, but the sound system on this thing really bumps. When you've got 8 subwoofers and a bunch of kickers, I mean, they really soup this thing up to have a good time. You've got 3 400 horsepower Merc racing engines on the back, so the thing flies. Considering the low maintenance, I mean, I'd argue to say that, you know, this is probably one of the ideal boats to have, especially in South Florida.
For the full tour, as always, visit driftsociably.com.